Some very big stories about Tesla to share with you today. First, Tesla announced they've built their 50 millionth 4680 battery cells at Giga, Texas. That's a growth of 30 million in 8 months. We'll discuss what this means for Tesla Model Y, for Cybertruck, for the upcoming Robotaxi, and of course, the Optimus bot. Next up, China Newsweek is reporting that Tesla's full self-driving entry into China is almost a foregone conclusion. Tesla has already set up the data servers and the systems in place that abide by the regulations. And finally, Elon Musk's xAI announced they're building the world's largest supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee. Called the Gigafactory of Compute, it's so large that if you take the two largest supercomputers in the world, combine them, then you multiply that by 4, that's what they're building. I've got Larry Goldberg joining us. Larry is a multi-entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Larry.
Thank you for having me.
Should follow him on X at Tesla Larry. Let's go through each of these stories. So the first one is the 4680 story. Tesla announced this, said that congrats 4680 cell manufacturing team on building their 50 millionth battery cell at Giga, Texas. So they showed a lot of the photos of the different teams that's been involved with creating the 4680 battery cells. That seems like a lot. That's a lot of photos of the teams. That's fantastic. They all look pretty good, and lots of people that seem to be both hardware, software, those kind of things. So this is the ramp. Thank you, Tesla Chan, for putting this together. This is what happened and what they've announced over the years and the months. So it looks like in Battery Day, they did that, announced it in 2020. So that's 4 years ago. And then about a year later, or 2 years later, they hit their 1 millionth. And it was slow. We knew that there was a delay. And so people were expecting this ramp to be faster. But by 2023, they announced 20 million. And then 8 months later, we got to the 50 millionth. So we're finally moving faster than before anyways. What do you think, Larry?
Yeah, I think the ramp is going to speed up exponentially. We know that they have 8 lines. That the number of lines they have to put in are fairly significant. And what they didn't tell us today is how many lines were operating and how many lines and what rate they were going to implement the lines. But given Tesla's history and where we are, I think we're going to see this exponential curve at this point. I think that the lines are going to kick in. Each time they introduce a new line, the next line becomes easier. It's classic production, growth and production improvement. So I think we're on the path. I think you have a quote from Sawyer that these batteries represent 22,000 Cybertrucks. Yeah, and so we want to get to 100,000 Cybertrucks. So we have to double each quarter now. We have to double each quarter to get to the kind of growth that we need for Cybertruck, and then what we need for Model Y. So yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. I think we're going in the right direction. I think we have to go, even faster. And I think we'll see that happen in this next quarter.
2 years ago, they had the Battery Day. 4680 is very important, but at the earnings call, Elon said it's not actually that important because battery prices fell. A lot of the EV makers said that they don't need this. How important is this for you?
Yeah, the batteries are very important for the Cybertruck because I think the structural pack is designed for the 4680, and I think that's why the 4680 is essential for the Cybertruck. As to the Y, obviously they have cells now from several other suppliers, and for that car, it's not that critical. And for the new 3, it's not that critical. A lot depends on what their plans are for the next gen and for the Robotaxi. And so there, clearly they're going to have to assess, or they will have assessed, their battery supplies very carefully. Elon has said, and I think he's right, that batteries are not his limitation right now. are not the limitation for Tesla right now. And we have to believe him. And from what we see in battery prices, they've fallen so dramatically, they can't be a problem.
Okay. So do you think that this also means that there is no longer cell constraints? That what does this mean for, like, say, this? I love this from the Humanoid Hub saying, "Rest assured, Optimus won't be cell constrained anymore." So,
Yeah, yeah.
are you expecting that because of this announcement, that somehow does this mean to you that scale is now moving faster and faster, and we're going to get back into what was promised, or is it still going to be very, very slow?
No, I think it's going to be fast, and I don't think we're constrained at all with batteries. I think that I'm almost certain that Optimus is going to use the batteries from Nevada. That's what I was. That's what I think Scott told us.
That's right.
Um, so, so I think 4680 is really focused on the Cybertruck. Be interesting to see what they've decided for the robotaxi. But battery prices have fallen so dramatically. I don't see any problem. I think we're out of this whole world of hurt situation with batteries. In fact, one of the biggest problems with batteries is that the prices have fallen so dramatically.
Yeah. It's funny how just a few weeks ago or a month ago, I guess, people were saying that, oh my God, 4680 is just a goner. They've fired everybody because Elon was so upset how terrible it was going, and yet they hit this big milestone. I mean, I guess both can still be true, but what was your interpretation of all that? Because, right, because like I think weren't you the one or somebody was saying that this means that they weren't likely using a dry cathode, which is like the new invention to hit the 50 million.
I didn't say that. I don't have a sense of the technical structure of the 4680. I rely on Jordan Giesiker to keep us informed in that regard. Um, I think that battery improvements are going to continue, come what may, and it is not even an economic issue. It's a technical issue. They're going to keep improving. That will inform the economics. The economics will inform the improvements
Mm-hmm.
and so on. This is it's a cycle, and we're in that cycle, and it's going to continue. We try to read the tea leaves too much about this,
Mm-hmm.
and people who are Tesla Q guys, they use this to, and even the Tesla bulls use this to analyze, and we we can't we can't know what the plans are and what Tesla are doing. All I know is what Elon tells us is that there's no constraint with cells. There's no
Yeah.
cost issue with cells. Cells are not the problem. Now,
Yeah.
he may say that, but we do know that 4680s are used for the Cybertruck, and we do know that they're essential for the Cybertruck, and we do understand that the Cybertruck's production, that's one of the limitations on the Cybertruck production.
Gotcha. So now we know
And
that that
so,
isn't going to be okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay. I think we could, whether we hit the 100,000 mark, I've said or not, I
Million.
don't
Yeah.
think is going to be the issue of batteries.
That's great. Okay. I think it's a good sign. At least we're hearing this, right? We're moving
Yeah.
forward. That's an important thing. Let's go to the next story here. There's actually a news article that was written on China Newsweek, and they basically said that Tesla's FSD's entry into China is almost a foregone conclusion. They continue to report on a number of activities and steps that Tesla's continue to make. That's why they're able to say this. So this is a translation from that article. So some of the words are a little off, but basically, the assistant director of Suzhou Automotive Research Institute told China Newsweek that the driving ability shown by FSD version 12.3.3 of the automatic driving system is amazing and is not difficult to see from various videos that it can respond to the sudden behavior of the car in front of it, as well as temporary construction and occupation of road conditions, which undoubtedly represents a top level of the current automatic driving. So pretty good. This is just 12.3. Person's kind of recommending that system is working really well. Some autopilot industry insiders told China News Weekly that Tesla has already set up the servers and deployed arithmetic power. I asked you, what does that mean? And you said that's likely means compute power, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Deployed the compute power in China to digest the data collected domestically, and the raw data collected domestically in the future will definitely not go out of the country. And some result level data may go out of the country. So this is, we've already reported this, that one of the 4 regulations that China said was you need to have servers, you need to make sure that they're stored in China and you don't send data out, except a new regulation came out that allowed certain data to be sent out. So this is like, a compromise between the two parties. This is great news. What do you think, Larry?
I'm sure that Tesla helped draft that law such that it allowed them to do what they needed to do, but didn't in any way impinge upon the security restrictions that China wanted to maintain, which is very easy to understand and very easy to implement. So this is just another one of the tea leaves that we can see. The road to FSD in China is in place. And this is very important because it's the largest EV market in the world. It's going to be the largest robotaxi market in the world. I mean, robotaxis in Europe are very nice. Robotaxis in the US are quite important. The robotaxis in China in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even the next 20 years, is going to be the single largest market for robotaxis in the world. So it's very important. And Elon understands this, and he knows the market, and he's been instrumental and absolutely brilliant in negotiating a place for Tesla in China. And what is the place? They are a pacemaker. They are teaching the Chinese. They are showing the Chinese what they need to do to compete. And this is a very good role for Tesla to play.
We're going to play a game. I want to ask you a question. What's the chances that on August 8th, there will be some sort of announcement about China, some sort of program about robotaxi in China? What percentage chance?
I don't think that's an appropriate question for 8.8. That sounds to me closer to like a earnings report. Almost, I think that's going to be really dependent upon a corporate announcement. I think that needs to be, have its own have its own press release. That would be my guess. Now it's possible that an announcement is made. It's possible that that could be an announcement made at the shareholders meeting.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I mean, why not?
Wow.
It would be good if it were made in advance of the shareholders meeting, but but I think 8.8, is going to be focused on. I mean, it's possible. Look, we investors are keen to see that news out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
The company is less concerned about share price, the share situation. I think they're much more focused on executing and appropriately. And the other thing is China is also very sensitive about when that information is given out. So a lot of moving parts.
That's a good point.
Answer to your question is I don't think it'll be on 8.8.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, let's talk about the next topic here. Big announcement by XAI. So this one came out, and it's pretty shocking what they were able to announce. XAI to build supercomputer facility in Memphis. So the artificial intelligence company, XAI, which is Elon founded, it's going to build the world's largest supercomputer, multi-billion-dollar Gigafactory of Compute, and it's going to be in Memphis. So let's listen in to the Chamber of Commerce CEO Ted Townsend.
I'm pleased to announce that xAI's Gigafactory of Compute, the world's largest supercomputer, is to be located in Memphis, Tennessee.
Thought it was longer than that. That's pretty straightforward. Okay. So it's expected sometime before the end of this calendar year, pending approval. It's crazy how fast they're going to do this. Somebody said that it normally takes 2 years to get something like this up and running. These guys are going to try to get it done in a year. So this is going to occupy a former manufacturing facility in Memphis. They did not say where it is, but then a second article I'll share that actually described where it is. So what's your thoughts on this announcement?
Yeah, Memphis is a surprising announcement because Memphis is certainly not, the center of IT in the IT center in the IT world. But the key about these gigafactory or these giga compute or these giga computers is power, the provision of power, and so obviously the confluence of whatever in Memphis allowed them to get this kind of power provisioned in time, and that's the key. So I think that that's how Memphis drew the long straw, and more power to them. Listen, Memphis needs it. Memphis, has struggled. I don't know if you've been there, but it's a great town. Great music, but they've struggled. And so this is going to be a real shot in the arm, and maybe it'll be a catalyst for some high tech development in Memphis.
Yeah, my thinking is that you have to spread out the data centers for a couple of reasons, right? One is just redundancy, right? You don't want something to happen, an earthquake or something. You don't want to have all your data centers in the same place. And then two, we've been learning that there's only a certain size before you run out of energy. And so you've got to have multiple data centers connected together because it will take down a state. And so this choice, I think Memphis might have something to do with that. Might be able to, they probably will also be buying energy packs. I'm sure about a megapack factory there as well. They'll need to. That's my theory of what will happen next.
Well, the mega pack is just going to be for stability and reliability, right? So that's not the provision of power, and so they've done their homework, I'm sure, and that the interconnects. There's a lot of politics around interconnects, and interconnects is the key to getting the power into a particular site. And so I am certain that the negotiations included a package whereby the interconnect was guaranteed. Of that, I'm certain, because otherwise there wouldn't be any point to it. I think it's the key to citing, a major data center, and so that, together with all the other factors, must have been taken into account. As far as IT specializations are concerned, it's not that important because it's engineering rather than software to build that computer.
Right.
It can be actually, it can be managed fairly remotely, or a fair amount of it can be managed remotely.
Yeah.
So I'm certain, bandwidth and power, those are the two critical factors. And I'm sure they've done their homework and made sure that both of those are available.
So apparently, according to the Memphis officials, they've been going after Elon on this for a long time. And imagine how quickly it was after just even them announcing the $6 billion raise for xAI. Now they're already announcing this. This is, moving at Elon's speed. Sometimes people think Elon's speed is long, but sometimes it's super fast, faster than anyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is crazy. This is the way he described the scale of the supercomputer. Said if you take the two largest supercomputers in the world, you combine them and you multiply that by 4, that's what we're building here. 8 times larger than the current supercomputer, I guess, if I did my math right. This is massive, massive. It's like who would think of this, right? And it's crazy. So the actual location from another article said that the project is going to put this supercomputer in the Electrolux facility. I think this is a vacuum cleaner. You thought it was a
No, yes, yeah, Electrolux, electrical appliances, a wide range of electrical appliances.
yeah. So you're right. See, it's only gonna be low to mid hundreds. So like this is just really a data center. You don't have to have a lot of employees in it, like you were saying. But it's still a multi-billion-dollar supercomputer. It's going to need to have energy. It's going to have, just high tech to really make this work.
The key is it's going to pay a lot of tax.
Right. And then of course,
Yeah.
this is the thing, right? Every official is trying their best to get associated with Tesla, to get associated with Elon. This is going to turn Memphis. I think they were calling them some, I don't know what names they were calling themselves at this point. We're going to be like the compute, computer city or something, right?
Yeah, I think what they'll find is that data centers or computer centers don't add a great deal to the culture because they are very much, standalone. I mean, I know in North Carolina there are a few very large data centers. Google has one there, Microsoft has one there, and in those towns where they were installed, they didn't bring a whole lot of high tech visibility and culture. So they're going to have to work hard at Memphis to make that stick.
Yeah. All right. So the three stories that we covered today, right? One is 4680 batteries. And then we talked about FSD rolling out in China, moving forward there. And then we talked about XAI building a supercomputer, of which, by the way, Tesla has more supercompute power than XAI. They're actually ahead of them. Now with this announcement of this Gigafactory of Compute, maybe XAI will be bigger, but it's not like Tesla is not right up there in terms of compute power on its own. So it's great. This is one company doing, just today we reported on these three things, right?
But Herbert, we're going to have to, I mean, the key is with Tesla, we understand very well what the target is for their AI. And it's very clear what the value is of that target. When we talk about XAI and X, because XAI is really provisioning AI for X, it's still a mystery as to what the final form of that product set is going to be. We can guess the shape and the outline, but the value add right now is still speculative.
What are they going to be? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not true for Tesla. It's not speculative at all. We have very clear understanding of the value of the AI that Tesla is aiming for the car, and for the humanoid robot. And so there is a much clearer path, in my judgment, for Tesla in these two products than for X using XAI or for XAI. And I would say that's also true for Microsoft and Anthropic and Meta. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I was talking to Jeff Lutz about this, and what he was saying is that, if you're NVIDIA, you're Jensen Huang, you want to prioritize Elon Musk. And the reason is that you want to show that your chips, not just chips, but the whole system that everybody's buying is going to, you want to put it in a company that's going to generate revenue from it as quickly as possible so they can buy more from you. Tesla's going to be able to do an FSD, robo-taxi revenue. They're going to do bot revenue. It's very clear, real world applications. These other companies, they're almost like R&D at this point. They buy the chips, they create this intelligence, but they haven't created a revenue stream from it, is what you're saying. But at the end of the day, XAI, OpenAI, they're going to be the super intelligence, Larry. It's super intelligence. There's, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to pay you $100 an hour. You be my lawyer today. I'm going to pay you $200 an hour. You be my doctor right now. You know, there will be money. It's just not clear.
Yeah, I mean, can we trust lawyering? Can we trust the doctoring? I mean, we know that the first use of AI for lawyers got a lawyer disbarred or
Right.
got a lawyer.
Yeah.
He's got his hands slapped. I don't think he got disbarred. I think he just got his hands slapped. But it'll be a while. It'll be a while. But in the Tesla applications, the specific applications, we know what the roadmap is, we know what the end product is going to be, and we know what that market is. And it's very clear. It's just not that clear for X or XAI, but it's a very interesting play.
And it's like I said, the story today is FSD, robotaxi. You got batteries, which you need to power the compute power of this, you know, supercomputers. Right. And then you've got a real world application. They're all related. They're all connected. Thank you so much, Larry. That was great. Appreciate you. Follow Larry on X at Tesla Larry. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.